Okay, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up small, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said, the people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not know. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you. That's why we voted you. For you.
Hey.
Okay, let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon, George.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you today?
Good.
Man, I'm going to Canada tomorrow. From there on to Paris, then France, but I ain't even packed yet, man. So
what's happening in Canada?
Nally, I just want to chill Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Delve into some Black history. Supposedly Underground Railroad and some other stuff went through there. Check it out. And then, probably 5-6 days. Then we'll go on to Paris for another 5-6. And in Paris, we'll connect with my niece. She and her mom. It will be a little family thing.
They live there?
No. She visiting. She got some very good friends there. And then
all right, so when you go to Paris, one of the places you want to visit is a place called the Village Montmartre.
Le Village?
Village Montmartre. I will send you the link.
Okay, send me the link.
They have the best. They make, if your wife likes crepes, they make the best crepes there.
Love crepes. Village Montmartre. Send me the link.
They make the best crepes at the Village Montmartre. Oh man, there's another place we ate on the Champs-Elysees. I would look it up. I kept like a diary of all that stuff.
No, folks, let me tell you something. Hold on, John. Let me tell you something. One thing you can always rely on, if you tell George what you're going to do about something, he got some kind of input to give you that can be like on point.
But you know what would be really cool? If you guys didn't spend a whole bunch of time in Paris, and you took the train to Amsterdam.
Okay.
Amsterdam is fantastic.
You see?
Okay.
Our trip. But
let me tell you.
We can take 2 days and go to Amsterdam.
Yes, you could. Because when we were there, we went to Stuttgart, we went to Frankfurt, then we went to Barcelona.
Wow.
And then we went to Paris and we went to Amsterdam.
For me, I really wish it was soccer season so I could catch some games. But that's
let me tell you, you guys will enjoy Amsterdam. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
I'll bounce the idea and see what we do. I know some people in Amsterdam too, but I just never.
You can take the train and you can be there. I think it's about 4 hours.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Any tips for London?
No, I don't like London.
Why? It's too dreary?
It's too dreary. I don't like the weather, And besides, the British people don't have good food. I don't mean to knock them. They don't make good food.
I'll make sure I got my pepper with me because my pepper.
All right. Well.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right. We have this whole situation here where, for me personally, according to you, is fantastical. But we have this idea that diaspora can impact, investment culture in Liberia and everything else. But all of that is kind of limited by the environment, by the system that exists, and everything like that. So when we talk about trying to establish some kind of diaspora fund, some kind of way that we Liberians can start to own our economy in partnership with people on the ground, definitely, because that is very critical. I mean, in general, what are your thoughts before we get to the specifics? I mean,
so I kind of wrote something out today in that in that thread. It was long. Okay. And one of the things I said was Liberians continue to underestimate the impact that the government's lack of engagement on these in these issues are. There is, so for example, and one of the things I said to you was, in every country, there is a limitation on the involvement of foreign nationals in certain sectors of the economy.
Exactly. But I mean, basically, we kind of have that with Liberianization.
We have that rule, but we don't follow it. So let's forget that we didn't have the rule at all. Let's just forget that we didn't have it, okay? Just for the sake of this argument. Mm-hmm. We also have a constitutional rule that protects Liberians when it comes to land ownership. Because under the Constitution, only Liberians can own land.
Right. And that's
clear.
That's a principle. That's a principle value that we don't even really.
And hold on. So you don't need additional government regulation limiting the ownership of property to Liberians. So then one has to ask the question, if only Liberians can own land, how is it that Liberians are unable to generate capital from the land they own? Now, for those people who are economists and all of that, they would understand that capital formation is based on the ability of an investor to measure A, what they are investing in, B, what their returns will be, and the protection environment for their investment, i.e. private property. All right? Yeah. So when you look at the fact that Liberians are the only ones that can own property in Liberia, and you say, well, why aren't those things happening? Those things are not happening because, one, the government cannot guarantee the ownership of private property. The government cannot create a record that proves that a piece of property is owned by a person, a specific individual. In that environment, a bank is not willing to take the risk to lend somebody $300,000 to build a house, only to have somebody else show up 2 years later and say, here's my deed, I'm the owner of the property.
Exactly.
Okay, banks have to price in risks. So when the bank in Liberia gives a mortgage, it's a 5-year mortgage.
At what percentage?
But hold on, at 60% loan to value, okay, and you got to pay it off in 5 years. Because what the bank is betting on is, guess what? If somebody shows up 3 years after, we would have at least minimized our loss.
Right, because they want to pay back on the front end, you know?
Exactly, because of the exposure. And that exposure is due to the lack of property record systems that are irrefutable. That's exactly what it's due to.
Right. And so just for our people to understand, I think we need to explain what LTV means, loan to value, because whatever the amount of your loan is, that percentage of the actual value of that property, that's what a loan to value is. And when he says 60%, that means the bank is requiring that
you put up 40%.
Yes. If that's the total cost of it, you got to put up 40%.
So if you want to borrow $100,000, you have to come up with $40,000.
And how many people can really do that?
So if you want to borrow, if you want to borrow, let's say you want to build a house and it's going to cost you $200,000. To borrow, you have to come up with, right, $80,000, and you have to pay the remainder, $120,000 over a 5-year period.
Right.
Over 60 months. Correct?
Yeah, well,
as opposed to somebody in America
who
is making a purchase on a $200,000 apartment. They're putting down maybe 5% or 10% loan to value. So they will have to put down $20,000, okay? And they got 30 years to pay that. 360 months. Those are the risks that the banks are pricing in for Liberia. And it doesn't seem to resonate with the Liberian people. So let me give you talk about diasporans getting involved.
Well, what is the amount of people who in the banking system? How many people do you think have bank accounts?
Well, I mean, okay, fine. But how do you expand the banking system?
And
okay,
we talked about that, right? What's the easiest way for people to get access to banks?
You have to be able to identify them uniquely.
That's
okay.
Wrong.
So they talk about Liberians in the diaspora getting involved. Let's say you started a diaspora investment fund and you got 500 people,
right,
to invest $2,500 a piece. Okay, how much are you talking about there in terms of the amount?
That's 1.25 million.
Okay, you got 1.25 million, and you say, okay, we want to invest in a 20-year mortgage market in Liberia. What's to guarantee you that you're going to invest in somebody's property? Somebody else is not going to come and claim the property. Okay, let's say you're going to build 20 apartments.
And especially if you go somewhere where the people can buy land, resell it, buy it.
But there's nowhere in Liberia that doesn't happen. It happens everywhere. Okay, and people don't seem to understand. It's not so much that the people in Liberia are that crooked. Yes, they're crooked. But it's the fact that the government does not have in place a way to do this.
Yes.
When you go to buy a piece of property in America, there's something called a uniform mortgage loan application.
Right.
Every bank uses the same application.
Same application, same information, standardized.
They want the same information. They want the name of the property. They want the address of the property. Just based on that information alone,
everything
they can get all the property records from the government. They don't ask you to present that information to them.
No.
Because you might present false information to them.
They got a record of truth.
They got their records.
So how do we move in that direction? Because
if the government
being made,
this is not something that the private industry can do.
No, but there's a land commission, right? The
land commission, their job is to resolve conflicts. Okay, they're not digitizing they're not doing
the archives. The archives are doing that outside.
Yeah, but the archives, Isaac, people are showing up with different deeds. Okay, what needs to happen is there needs to be a project that's spearheaded by the archives to have every deed that is in the archive resurveyed and recertified using geographic information systems.
Right, GIS, using GIS.
Okay, and at that point, once that property is certified and is stored online, then people can search for the ownership of the property. Went off. Your microphone is off, Isaac.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So no, Your point is very, very valid. I mean, until we can get that kind of project going, that kind of structure going, there will always be dispute and questions and
listen
around property.
My mother owns a vacant piece of property right next to the Nigerian embassy. It is one of the few vacant lots that are available on Tubman Boulevard. She owned that property for at least 30 years. A lady showed up the other day and fenced the entire property. She said it's hers. Okay? She said she had a deed. And she's Richard Henry's daughter or stepdaughter or something like that. Her brother, Justice George Henrys, wrote a letter to the court that said that the Henrys family never owned that part of the property, because she was supposed to have inherited the property from George Henrys. I mean, from Richard Henrys.
Richard Henrys.
So she showed up with a deed that was fraudulent. Her brother wrote a motion to the court to disregard the deed. Isaac, it's been over a year.
And it has not been resolved.
It hasn't been resolved. The lady has essentially fenced the property and is trying to sell it.
Wow. And you guys have like a mother deed or something that's clear.
We have the mother deed. We have everything. Okay? But I mean, we finally managed to contact the person she was trying to sell the property to.
Look at that kind of responsibility. Look how far you have to go.
I have to. So, and this has happened over and over. This lady is a well-known seller of property in Liberia. So, at the end of the day, if this is property that I own, how often do I have to fight somebody to keep my ownership?
We about to get some surprise guests, Josh, on the show. So
yeah, I see one guy named Monday Guy who says the banks or government own all the land in America. That's not true.
What he said, own? I thought he said
He's Monday Guy said the banks or government own all land in America.
No,
that's completely false.
They don't own the land, they own the records.
They own the records for the property. They don't own the land. Okay.
Well, but where did he say that? I thought he said it goes through the bank. I don't see where he says.
Up there
yeah. He said the banks or government own all land. No, one guy, I own the land I own right now.
Right.
Okay, records. Now he got it straight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but your point you're making, money guy, about the process of buying and selling land and the bank or some independent institution being the center point is on point. And unfortunately, we don't have that in our system.
And as long as that, listen. So how do the Lebanese and the Mandingos leverage their private access to capital to take advantage of the inability of Liberians who can't get money to build these buildings?
Let's correct that, though. Most of the Mandingos are Liberians, okay? But they
I said the Lebanese, okay, fine. But the Mandingos, essentially, they have their own lending club.
Right, and the Fulas, the Mandingo, and right now you go the Fula, all of them got one kind of housing design.
Okay, but they have their own lending club where they extend credit to each other. Costa, that you?
I'm here.
What's happening, man?
Good, man. It's a fascinating.
You know you're my dog, right?
But you know, because I know he out picking, so regardless of why.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, man.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Again, these people can all borrow money in their private club, but you can't really, the Susu club is good if you have 1,000 people. When you got 4 million people, it doesn't work.
I have an automated version of Susu, or Liberia actually created a whole app for Susu. They can do multiple people, but the payout is stay on. Well, you see, that's the thing with mobile money. The payout will be easy. Seriously.
Yeah, but Isaac.
Yeah.
You know what Susu is? It's saving money.
Yes, it is saving.
That's all it is.
It is totally.
That's all it is. But my point is, if that money was being put into a bank, gaining interest, then the bank can increase the deposit base, and the bank can then lend that money out for other things.
And that's part of the discussion. But let's just bring Henry up to speed. Henry, I know you probably were listening earlier, but essentially we're talking about this whole diaspora element in terms of participating in the development of Liberia. But at the same time, there's a significant risk because of the uncertainty around just certain processes, certain government responsibilities. So, that's where we are. And we started off with the land thing, but it kind of applies to everything in Liberia, because even the contract situation, your own thing you own, somebody can't claim it. You said that you even got any control over it, So,
true. But Isaac, let me tell you, you said the other day that the government has $800 million in internal debt.
Right.
Yeah, domestic debt.
This is money. Hold on. Do you guys recognize what you're talking about here? You're saying that the government of Liberia owes people in Liberia. $800 million for goods and services that they have provided to the government.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Okay, what an infusion of $800 million into the Liberian economy would do?
Most of this money is rental arrears, supply of stationary materials, other essentials that government uses, and most of these rental arrears, they are owed to Liberians.
Okay, so think about it, Costa. Let's say you got a company and the government says, Costa, we want you to supply us with $1 million worth of stationary equipment. You go to a bank and you say, okay, I need to borrow $500,000, right? To fulfill this contract.
Right.
You get the $500,000, you get the stuff and you give it to the government. And the government doesn't pay you back for 5 years.
And you owe that other person $500,000.
I know a lot of people who went bankrupt. Let me give an example.
Yes.
There was a guy called Mr. Ball. He's dead now. Peace to his ashes. This guy lived in America for so many years. Went back to Liberia, set up a company to procure security equipment for the police and private security entities and stuff like that. This guy participated in a bid, an LMP bid. They were seeking to procure uniforms for the police. This guy went ahead and put his property in the U.S., which he had significant.
Got a mortgage.
His mortgage, yeah. He went and mortgaged his property. He refinanced, or whatever term you use.
Yeah, refinance.
He took out a loan.
Yeah, he refinanced it.
He refinanced it, took out a loan because he had already been given the notice to proceed. After he won the contract, they gave him a notice to proceed. Rose Striker was deputy for administration LMP. She gave the guy a notice to proceed. When the guy went ahead and placed the order for the uniform, they told him later on that we're sorry, but we had to give the contract to somebody else. Wow. No good reason. This guy lost his property. He brought in uniforms that could not be sold. Who else will buy police uniforms, LM uniforms? They were custom made. So you see, there are lots of things. When you talk about the land issue, you also got to talk about the security or tenure. Security or tenure is extremely important. You don't want George Famulus refinancing his house in America and going to take out a government contract in Liberia when they don't even care that he's running a high risk doing that.
And that's why we have discussed this whole prompt payment thing. And
so let me tell you how that's addressed in America. The federal government has an act called the Prompt Payment Act.
Right.
The Prompt Payment Act says that the federal government must pay every invoice they accept within 30 days.
And it's a law.
It's a law.
And I think that is considerate of the vendor, because they want to make sure the vendor doesn't run out of business.
Hold on now, it gets better. The Prompt Payment Act also says that if a vendor offers the government a discount to pay earlier than 30 days, the government must accept the discount. So there is a payment notation called 210 net 30. I will give the government a 2% discount if they pay me in 10 days. If they don't pay me in 10 days, they got to pay me my full amount in 30 days. So let me tell you, Costa, what has evolved around this entire 210 scheme. I don't know if sometimes you listen to the radio, you will hear them talk about AmeriFactors and all of these people, these factoring companies. Here's what a factoring company does.
Well, I started a little business. We get 3%. We get our payment ahead of time. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the factoring stuff, right? I do a contract for the government and I submit my invoice for $20,000. The invoice is accepted. I go to my factoring company. I say, okay, my invoice has been accepted. They will pay me in 10 days. The factoring company says, we will give you 80% of that money today.
I take it.
I take it, and when the government pays them in 10 days, they take another 3%. So of that 20,000, I've lost 5%. But guess what? I got 80% of it the same day.
I got paid.
That the invoice. So imagine you're running a business where you have to always.
You got a fucking business. We do that.
Okay. So now what I'm trying to point out is, in Liberia, the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out how to retire that internal debt. Okay? You can look at the
okay, so just explain retire. So some people don't think you're dismissing the people debt.
No. How to pay it. Okay? So you can break the debt up into different kinds of contracts. Okay, you can say these are rental contracts. These are supply contracts. These are service contracts. The supply and service contracts, those people have to hire people to keep working.
Yes.
So you have to try to satisfy those people first so that you keep Liberians employed.
So they can maintain their businesses.
Exactly.
Okay? You can also then create an internal bond market. Okay? Where people will buy Liberian bonds. And then, hold on now. Isaac, but Costa, if you're going to move the country forward, you got to do.
Wait. But George, when I said PBT, you're talking, it makes a whole lot of sense. It's doable. It's working. But look at the mindset of our bureaucracy, gentlemen.
Exactly. So now,
that's why government has to change.
If you want people to invest in Liberia, you say, okay, the government has $400 million in property arrears debt. Okay, how are they going to finance that debt and erase it off the books? Precisely. So if I invest $1,000 and I get 6% a year from that $1,000 in investment
in that bond,
in that bond,
yes,
over a 20-year period,
it's cumulative. That's good money.
That's good money. Okay, you end up having what's called a bond resale market. And all of those kind of things. So in the case of Mr. Board that you talked about, the minute this guy got this contract, he should have been able to walk into any Liberian bank and say, I have a contract that's worth X number of dollars. I need to borrow 50% of it. But as you also said, the sanctity of the very contract was not respected.
It's not secure. Nope. That's a fact.
No, so the banks can't lend money based on that.
Unless you're a Lebanese man. Now, hold up, George. If you're a Lebanese man or you're some foreigner, the banks will be more favorable to you.
And that is
if
sad.
You're a Liberian man.
That is sad. That happens.
No, but let me tell you why.
Access to capital is discriminatory in Liberia, guys.
No, but Costa, is it really discriminatory? Or do those people who have these Lebanese people, let's say they got a building, right? that's generated. That they got a building that has 4 apartments on each floor. Is 4 floors, and they get $3,000 per month per apartment.
They have the collateral. That's true. That's
they got collateral.
But also, some of those things are based on discriminatory relationships.
Discriminatory.
Before the listen, I agree with that, but this is what I'm willing to say.
Bank for no money.
Costa, this is what I'm willing to say. Lebanese people, they have relationships with other Lebanese people who have money. Those people can essentially co-sign for them.
That's another factor.
To get money from the banks.
They do that.
Exactly. Okay? Exactly. Now, until we fix our internal contracting situation, until we fix our lending situation, okay, like I said to Isaac, I said, how come you can walk into a car dealership that you've never met? The guy doesn't know you.
Anybody there, and walk away with a car in under 2 hours.
You said my name is Isaac Tukba, and I want that $60,000 Porsche.
Run my credit.
Yeah,
I want that $60,000. Okay,
that's all.
That's all. He doesn't have to know you. He doesn't have to know who your mother is. He doesn't have to know anything about you.
No.
And while he's sitting there, they will give him a cup of coffee or tea while they're running his credit and running his social.
But boss man,
but let me tell you something, guys.
It gets even better.
Wait,
you don't even have to go there.
George, let Costa finish.
So there's an overarching issue here. Everything you're saying is brilliant, it's great, and it should happen. But there's an overarching issue here. The government first has to develop the political will to want to do affirmative economic empowerment of its people. The government does not want to see its people succeed economically. Maybe you guys are not realizing that. It is a culture. Administration after administration, they don't want Isaac Vartukba to get rich. They don't want George family to get rich. George Marshall be billions of dollars, he will be a threat to us.
And that's a fact.
Isaac is so smart, he will be a threat to us.
That's a fact.
And he has a short-sightedness. He has a short-sightedness.
A very successful Lebanese friend told me one day, he's a big businessman in the country. His family is one of the wealthiest. He said, Costa, my father came here in the 50s. He's not even allowed to become a permanent resident in the sense that he has to renew every year. He has to travel with his resident card everywhere he goes. Every time he enters the country, he must flash it to be allowed in the country. They have to sign. But we've been able to become so rich in this country. And you know why? It is because you, Liberians, I consider myself Liberian. I was born in this country, acculturated here. But you, Liberians, you hate one another. You hate one another so much that you create an environment where we can succeed economically because you don't see us as your competitors. You don't see us as your rivals. So you let us
political rivals.
You let us make all the money while you hate one another and you suppress one another. So you are pushing for all of us to become citizens. You know what? This argument was made against the backdrop. I was saying we should repeal Article 27 in the Constitution and allow all people, even people of non-Negro descent, become citizens. The guy said, good and all, but guess what? If I became citizen, there will be an economic downside to me.
Yes.
Because now your people will see me as a political threat. So let me stay a non-citizen, be racist against me all you want, but give me all the money in your country.
and so let me just tell you why I agree with everything you said, Costa, 100%. Here's why that argument is so short-sighted. Everybody in America doesn't want to be president of America.
True.
You understand? People want to make money and go about their daily business. True. The fact is that the government doesn't recognize that if you create a strong middle class, all people want is for government to work.
That's it. Government should work.
Okay? The reason people flock to the government is because that's where the money is.
Because you don't have a middle class. You don't have any economy other than the Republic of Liberia Incorporated.
And that's why we say we need to build that middle class, because
we need to build that middle class, but we can only build that middle class if we put the necessary systems in place that are objective. When we talk about objectivity, is Henry Costa walking into the car dealership and giving his social security number. They don't know you. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, Costa, when my Jeep, September 30th of 2022 of 2020, my Jeep was involved in an accident. It was totaled on a Friday. I said, I got to get a new car. I called insurance. I said, the car's been totaled. I got to get a new car. So my wife said she wanted a Mercedes-Benz, and we went to look at the Mercedes-Benz. I said, oh, everything is in short supply. The car you want will not be here for 6 months. I said, great, I can go get another Jeep. I went online, put in my information. They said, where's the dealership? I put in the dealership information. They said they got the car you want. I got that approval. They said, just go to the dealership, give this to the manager. They will give you the car. I was in and out of that place in 35 minutes. My wife dropped me off. I said, you got the black Jeep here with the black interior. They said, this is the one I want. Here's my paperwork. It came direct. It was because it was funded directly through Chrysler. The guy said, give me your ID, punch in my information. Chrysler said, yes. Gave me my keys and I drove away. He said, oh, I said, you ain't got to teach me how to use it because I just had, my other one got totaled. So the point I'm making is, when you have that type of objective measurement of people's credit worthiness, then you don't have all of these attendant issues that we have in our society.
And that's the fact, because people micromanage the economy, they micromanage people's businesses. They want to know what you're doing, who your partners are, because that insecurity is there. If somebody who has potential for political success makes money, it threatens the establishment. But like you said, not every Liberian want to be politician, but because that's where the money is today, it's the sexy thing. Everybody want to be politician. Everybody want to be politician. Everybody want to steal. Look at this government that came in, talking all the crap against Ellen, wanting to bring Ellen down, everything. What happens on the first, before even inauguration? They started stealing. And that's the problem we have to do until, like you say, we do the grunt work, we do the heavy lifting, and build systems in our country that, like you said, can be objective. We treat John Peter the same as they treat Yakagbo. That's the only way the country move forward. Period.
And the thing about it is that this heavy lifting we're talking about, it can be done in 36 months.
Fact.
It can be done in 36 months. Let me tell you something. Kenya did their national ID, 50 million people, they did it in 6 months. NEC says that they're going to do their registration. I'm willing to bet you they can register 3 million people in 12 months. They just can't do it.
No, the math doesn't work, except they're working with, I know, 1,000 people at incredible.
Listen, I did the calculation.
They can't do
it. I did the calculation. Between now and July of next year, when the voter rolls have to be closed, if they have to do 3 million biometric IDs, they have to do 1,500 every day, 7 days a week. We know in the rainy season in Liberia, that's just not possible.
And they haven't even started.
Are you guys saying that? Are you guys saying the moving to transition to biometrics is unrealistic for this coming election cycle?
I believe so. Yes.
The numbers don't allow it.
I've been concerned about it, especially considering we have no experience working with it.
So,
especially considering that.
So do you need the first thing? Do you need a census for the elections?
Well, you pass that stage now.
They want to do them both together, the census as well as the.
How realistic is that? That's the thing. The first thing, I got some bank statements where the people, after this census accusation, they just been stealing money again.
So, Kosa, for me, I like to deal with the empirical stuff and the processes that are around that will allow us to do the things we want to do. What the problem is with the identification stuff is we have a national identification agency whose job it is to do this, right? It's their job.
It is.
Trust me.
That's
all identification functions in Liberia should go through that agency. Yeah. The NEC, the only data they need from your identification is your location and your voting precinct. That's it. Okay? So it's not the NEC's job to do the biometric IDs, but because the identification agency is not funded, they don't have the money to do it. So now what you have is the NEC usurping the function of that agency because they have, quote unquote, an urgent mission. When the NEC is done, what's going to happen to that biometric data? Because that is the same biometric data we need to build the national ID system.
Yes.
You understand? For everybody to use. So are you going? So according to them, they're going to give the data to the NEC, to the agency, and then the agency will go ahead and reproduce cards. So and now you're producing 6 million cards where you should have only produced 3 million in the first place.
Right. It's a reverse. It should come from the National Identification Registry.
Every identification function in the Republic of Liberia must be done by them. So if you're doing a project, Costa, that says you need to have identification in the budget for that portion, let's say it's $300,000.
It should be outsourced.
You will then transfer that $300,000 to the National Identification Registry and say, we have 50,000 people that need to be registered.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But it's not being done like that. So what's going to happen is NEC is going to do something. They're going to have an election. And after this election, we still will not have a national biometric ID system.
And the reason for that is just the same reason in all the different unnecessary waste that we see in the budget, because certain people want to control the monies. That's just the bottom line. They want to have their own money. That function should be with the National Identification Registry in collaboration with the National Elections Commission. Unfortunately, because NEC, for some reason, has a higher preference.
Priority.
Yes, they have a higher priority. But
because of this election,
that the identification of our people is a national high priority that needs to happen.
Correct.
Mandated by the Constitution.
Because here's the thing, right, Costa? Even after NEC registers 3 million people, you still got at least another 1 million people that need to be registered. You see what I'm saying? Because
especially
but it's not about collaboration. It's about putting the function where the function actually belongs.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
The only thing the National Identification Agency does is identification. What NEC does is to use that identification data to attach it to a voting location and precinct.
Guys, the people at the Liberia Identification Registry clearly are incompetent. This unit was set up a few years ago. I bet you these guys have not even registered more than 200,000 people.
But they don't have money.
Ridiculously too.
They have no money. They're not funded.
They don't have a budget.
Not only that, do you know where you have to register? You have to go to their offices. People don't even know where their office is. That's where you have to go to get registered.
No, it's somewhere
decentralized all over the place.
It's somewhere on Kongatan.
Costa is 100% right. Okay. Costa is 100% right, because if the government passed a law or a rule that says that every bank account must be attached to a national identification ID in the next 18 months.
People will go and get it. There will be demand for it.
But in the bank itself, you will have a national identification officer there.
To produce it right there and then.
To produce it there for you.
All places with huge traffic should have that ability to produce.
And huge and mandatory traffic.
And you know what you can even do? You can sort of contract people. For example,
correct.
You can tell them, we will have 1 or 2 of our staffers from the identification registry here, but the rest of the staffers and the capacity or whatever will be from you, and we'll give you maybe $1 of each of the $4. I mean, they will pay $5, but you get $1 for that, because
correct.
You're housing our staff, and you get the equipment, and we certify everything and set up the system.
There are many ways to do. Unfortunately, people don't want to think. They just want to get out.
They don't want to do it, and it has to be a continuous process.
Right.
So people know.
Permit me to veer off a little bit, right? Speaking of the same structural thing, the whole process and thing, let's go to LEC meters. It takes your meter goes off or gets burned. It takes months, literally months, from the time you file a report, you put a work order in, you pay for the meter. They tell you the meters are free, but people rather pay for the meter than have to wait for the meter when it doesn't come.
Right,
now,
because
what's wrong with them telling people? Yeah, what's wrong with them saying, LEC saying, these are the specifications and the types of meters we're using in Liberia. Everybody is encouraged to import meters to sell. Once you follow these specifications, everybody will bring in meters. You'll literally find meter everywhere. But they don't want to do it. They want to macro-manage it. LEC wants to bring in the meters when they do, whenever they feel like it. And people have to wait. Therefore, meters that should cost $25, $50, the cheap Chinese things, people are literally stealing them from people's homes and selling them for $500 US to other people.
Okay.
Because you're so scarce and you've driven the price up and you've also incentivized theft. People are stealing it.
So here's my issue with this, okay? We always have to get in on the ground floor. What we're looking at when it comes to LEC is there's more demand than they will ever have supply of.
True.
That's the first thing, okay? One of the reasons, and there is a significant amount of LEC's electricity that is lost to theft.
About 50%.
No address system, no ability to monitor.
Right. Without an address system.
That's the key.
Okay. Every house in the United States has a defined address. As a matter of fact, even if you lived in a multi-unit dwelling, you can live in an apartment. You will have your own meter. The other guy will have his own meter. The guy next to you will have his own meter.
Right.
But that comes with what we call addressability. Okay. This is where, Costa, I say all parts of the government have to work together. Addressability is not an LEC problem.
It's a
ListGIS problem.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? But if ListGIS never solves that problem, LEC is just spinning its wheels because LEC has to provide electricity, but they don't have the addresses. Now,
and they don't have the ability to create addresses either. That's not their role.
It's not their responsibility to do that.
Real problem.
Okay? So hold on. This is what I would do if I were king of the world. And I am king of the world in my house.
King of Liberia, don't reach to the world, please.
In my house, okay? So this is what I would do,
much of the word is okay. Let's limit it to...
So check this out, Costa. Any new building in Liberia cannot be connected to the to LEC.
You see, Percy Harris, he in a new development. He just won't tell us that he got a brand new house. So he asking you why address. Not on Google yet.
Congratulations.
Yeah, because it hasn't been put up there yet.
Congratulations.
It hasn't been put up there. But if he types it in, he should be able to go there.
Well, probably
it will be there in 6 months because the maps usually renew every 6 months. Even the piece for my car, it renews every 6 months. It's a 6 month cycle. So, Costa, if I was in control of building permits, every new structure in Liberia cannot be connected to LEC. Okay, it's possible to do the energy consumption rating for every building. Let's say you do the energy consumption rating for the building, and you say this building will use 1 kilowatt a month.
And a 1,000 watt. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I mean, I don't know how they measure these things, but that's just a raw number.
Right.
You can then purchase the solar to provide that power for you.
Right.
Okay. But right now, you can't keep building and expect that LEC is going to be able to connect you. You see what I'm saying?
But that has failed, George. I mean, the expectation for that is just low. Look at the
So that's what I'm saying. We cannot continue to put the burden on LEC to provide electricity for new construction when they can't provide electricity for the current existing construction. We have to shift our entire energy posture. We have to. Listen, I told you the people in Senegal, they built a brand new fantastic stadium.
$250 million.
But that stadium came, Costa, with a 3 megawatt solar power plant.
Right.
Okay, with batteries. So it takes no it takes no electricity off the grid.
Now,
okay, but here's what makes it even more.
Supply electricity to the grid.
What makes it more impressive is when the batteries are full, all the excess electricity goes back into the grid.
There you go.
Okay, so you can do the same thing, but we have to change our energy posture. We can't say LEC will never be able to provide the amount of electricity that we need in Monrovia.
Hold on now, George. You got a CLSG. This is a beautiful arrangement. They've built the infrastructure in Liberia. They've got multiple substations, transmission, distribution infrastructure is all set up. We owe them a few $1 million for.
We always owe them.
Huh?
We always owe.
Are you trying to tell me we have not paid that $9 million debt yet?
No, we haven't paid the $9 million debt yet. So now the government is saying this recast budget, they've inserted $20 million to defray the $9 million, pay off the $9 million that we owe to CI, which is the Ivorian Energy Group, or CE, I think they call it CE, Ivorian Cote d'Ivoire Energy or something. But we're supposed to pay them that $9 million to offset, because what we did when we brought the power in, we started giving the people in Maryland, people in Nimba and Grandview free electricity in the Southeast. They enjoy electricity. So now we racked up $9 million in arrears, and the Ivorians have said, if you pay us $3 million upfront, and you can structure payment to pay the rest of it, $500,000 a month until it's fully repaid before we hook you up. So our people are now saying they're going to pay, they've allotted $20 million to take care of all of that. But here's my concern, George. They're giving the power to us at 13 or 12 cents per kilowatt hour, which is impressive, which is just about what we pay in the US for power. But the point is, considering that 50% of the power in the grid, in the national grid, has been stolen, how would we be able to sell this power at the same, at a reasonable price, affordable price, and not fall short of generating the amount of money? Because now it's about kilowattage. So when they sell you 10 megawatts a month or 3 megawatts a month, that's how much money you're going to have to pay them. So how do we do that?
Costa,
all this power tax?
Let me tell you what I would do. Okay, I would say to them, listen, we know we owe you $9 million. Okay, but we're going to pay you $5 million and call it even.
And they would take it. They would take it.
We'll pay you $5 million and call it even.
They would take it.
All right.
And cover your losses.
Hold on, Costa. A 10 megawatt solar power plant at the airport in India, Isaac?
India.
Okay. Cost them how much?
Was
about 10 million?
I think $19 million.
19 million.
Okay. So the companies that do this type of stuff, they have the same type of build-buy arrangement. Okay. So you say, so the government has already cast, say, $20 million, right? You go to them and you say, we're going to put in, we need you to build us a 10 megawatt power plant here. Here's the beauty of solar, Costa. The beauty of solar is you don't need all of the infrastructure. You understand? The problem with hydro is you have to transport that electricity from Mount Coffee to Monrovia.
It's decentralized.
Distribution.
Exactly. If you put a 10 megawatt solar power plant in Hopper, the amount of money, the infrastructure you have to spend to transmit that is not very much.
Compared to
so you can drop one in Banga. You can drop one in Sanikoli. You can drop one in all of those places, but you still ask the question about the theft. What about addressability? That is Lisgis's job.
You see, if like you say all the time, George, if government is to work, government must work.
It has to work.
If people cannot do what the mandate is by that law that creates that,
all these different parts of government, Costa, work like this. They all work just like this.
Everybody's
this part doesn't work on this side. This other side doesn't work on this side. So now the problem of addressability still comes in when you have an adequate supply of electricity from the Ivorians. You see what I'm saying? The Ivorians are now facing you are now facing the same problem that LEC is facing. LEC's problem is that people are stealing electricity because we don't have addresses. You bring the Ivorians in, they say, okay, we got plenty of electricity to sell you, but you still don't have addresses and people are stealing the electricity.
Yeah, but George, don't have enough transmitters either at the end of the day.
Exactly. I was about to come in. The real fundamental issue with power theft in Liberia is not largely attributed to the lack of not power theft. The inaccessibility of power is not largely due to the lack of addressability. Because look, we're unique in our ways, right? You may not be from this community, but by the time you get in our community, you know how to work your way around. You identify the customers, you'll be able to come there and they will direct you in all kinds of unique and idiosyncratic ways, right? You'll be able to find that place. But the real fundamental issue is the LEC always never has enough equipment, never has enough transmitters, never has enough lines, never has enough transformers. Transformer is what I meant to say. Never has enough meters. And then the ineffectiveness, the turnaround period, the time it takes them when you put a work order in or when you make a request and you put a work order in to when you actually get serviced. It takes too long. Okay. And because of that, a lot of people then become incentivized to resort to illegally hooking themselves up or having a local guy from LEC hook them up. And that money is going into somebody's pockets as opposed to going into LEC's coffers, which it would then use to buy more transformers and buy more electrical lines.
But hold on, Costa. Let me tell you why addressability is important.
Oh no, it's so important. It is not important.
No, hold on. Let me tell you. Let me step out. So the house that I live in is rated for a certain amount of power. I can go into the power company and see exactly how much electricity I've used every month for the last 36 months. You understand? I can show you last July where the amount of power I used went down by about 45%. Why? Because I was in Hawaii. Okay? Now, if all of a sudden my power usage goes up by 50%, guess what? The company's calling me. Okay? That has to do with addressability. We know where you live. We know what the rating for your house is. If Costa comes and hooks up his electricity to yours and your power goes up by 50%, then we're coming to you.
Yeah, but hold on now.
We have monitoring and control system. That's something called SCADA, the supervisory control and data acquisition. Okay,
good.
It's like a kind of architecture that controls the system, the computer, the network data, the communication, the GUI, graphical user interface, all of that. So,
but you know what? That's important, guys. Because Isaac might be the customer, but Isaac will bypass the thing and start serving several other people, and illegally then he will become a supplier.
Right.
So, guess who's breaking the law?
In a way that doesn't make sense. You give him a call and pay him a visit.
Isaac's breaking the law. Isaac's breaking the law. So again, because you don't have those control systems, but I'm going to give the people of Liberia a gift today. And it's a free gift. And Costa, if you can do this, it's free. Okay. I'm going to solve Liberia's addressability problem today.
Okay. Let's fix it right here.
You want to put it up? You want to put up that software so people can see how?
Go to.
Man, that's one of the quagmires of Liberia. Let's fix it right here today, George.
Right now, go to. Isaac put the link up, www.what3words.com. And the number 3.
Yeah. I mean, the simplest way to talk about location, that's just it, period. All right. John, let me just share the screen so people can see and probably.
John, let's fix that problem today.
Okay, so share it so Costa can see it. It's called what3words.com. What3words.com. What this system does, Costa, it has laid out the entire globe into 3 square meters.
Yeah, 3 square meters. That's it. That's
okay. So that's basically 9 square feet. All right, and you can pinpoint anywhere on the globe. So you can pinpoint anywhere on the globe, and it will give you, say, this is the 3-word address for that 9 square meters.
You see the square here, and this is the name for it, the 3 words.
So go to Liberia, Isaac. Literally go to Liberia. As a matter of fact, I sent you a link, didn't I?
Yeah, you sent me the link.
I sent you a link for CWA.
Okay, put CWA in, let's see. So this is supposed to give us an address for
No. Put in the link I sent you. Isaac. I gave you 3 words for CWA.
Let's go to Broad Street. Yeah, Broad Street right here.
Okay.
You see the name for this particular spot? Crest Infinite Diaries.
Okay. So that's the 3 words for that spot. Now I gave you. Hold on, I will find it for you.
Let me find it. You put it in here. You put in my something. Let me go to my WhatsApp and try to find it. But our conversation been long the last 2 days, so I gotta go all the way up.
So basically, how does this work? Is it going to
generate? Yeah, George, explain how it works. Why you?
Hold on. Okay, so what they do is they generate 3 words for every 9 square meters. I mean, okay. So for CWA, navigate Isaac to / skinny pinches flesh.
Okay.
So where you have that Crest Infinite Diaries, navigate to skinny pinches flesh and do a search.
Skinny.
/ skinny .pinches .flesh.
So somebody draw already, then it was P flesh.
Hit enter. But you don't choose the words.
No, I know. You see
what that is? That is the front door of CWA. That is the front door. CWA, you could pick another location. Either go or zoom in more and go to the actual terrain map.
Wow.
Keep going.
Wow.
You want
to change that terrain, right? Okay. That's the front door at CWA. That's the literal front door.
I see it. That's the entrance. Yeah.
Okay, that's the entrance. Now you could pick another place. Say the other place, Isaac, where you see where the driveway is, right there.
Right here.
No, on the other side, going up Ashland Street. You know how you drive between the buildings, CWA, the 2 buildings there?
Oh, right here?
No. Go to your left.
Okay, to my left.
Right there, right there. You see the driveway where the cars can drive through here? Click there.
People can see the grid. You can
click it. You see? So that's a different 3-word code, but that 3-word code in the entire world is only for that 9 meter square.
Right. So if I click on this other square, it got a different name.
So Costa, let's say you were saying to somebody in Liberia, I need you to deliver me a package.
What's the practical application?
Practical application is this. I'm going to order food from Evelyn's restaurant. Where are you? You send them the location exactly where you are using this application, and they can find you there. And it's not the plum tree, it's not the cassava farm. It's at this particular spot. That's where you are.
You can literally say to them, I'm standing at the entrance of CWA on the Ashland Street side.
All you need to know, you can say, I need you to go to this 3-word address.
Okay, let's assume like, there was little safety. And in some areas where you know how you can build house behind house, so there's a whole block here. But let's say this house is right here behind several houses. You don't have a physical address for it, but when you click on it, I'm at X Hill.
That's the 3-word address for that spot on the entire globe.
So if your Zing shack is your Zing round is right here, the person can come
and they can and it will show it to them on a map.
So Percy Harris said we should find Botnersville where he's from in Liberia, then he will use the app.
No, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So basically, what would have to happen is the government would have to register an official address like this for everybody's for the front door of everybody's house.
Tell him I will take it that way down from Ghana.
That will be the official registry for it.
Is it Ghana?
Yeah.
Okay. Zoom in.
We'll zoom in.
Yeah, zoom all the way in until you get to a specific spot.
You got
New Life Adventist Church.
So you got New Life Adventist Church.
Right here. Defended, that boosted, that popular.
That's the address. You put that you open up Costa, you open up what 3 words? And you put those 3 words.
I think now I understand. You know, I'm not too savvy with tech, but I understand it now. So literally every spot on the world, like you said, what?
In the entire world.
On the entire globe.
On in the entire globe. Yes. It has generated 3 words.
Unique words.
The front entrance or the address, the location.
No, that spot.
Just that
spot. So as we are looking at this,
if I click right next to it,
click there.
Reminder.
It's a different word.
Exams.
You see that?
Wait. So you mean it basically? What's the word? What am I trying to say? It basically zero in on every 9 point something meters. Square meter.
9 square meters. Look at the map. You see the grid. You see the grid on top of the map.
You see the grid.
You see the grid lines, right?
Yeah, I see the grid lines exactly. It's like
where in that grid has a unique 3-word number.
Wait. So that particular grid that Isaac is in now, which is 9 square meters of that same roof, but it has a different name. It's called Reminder Knocking Exams.
Exactly.
Correct.
If you come to this
so hold on now. So I know the particular spot where I am. If I want Isaac, let's say it's hooked up in Liberia, I can just get you diagram riders waddled.
Correct.
And you will come literally to where I'm standing.
I will come right. Let's say somebody kidnap you and you send me that.
Exactly. Costa, you get it now?
No, I get it.
You get it, right? So if you're sitting at the front door, they can bring it to the front door. If you're sitting at the back door, they can bring it to the back door. If you're sitting at the window,
even the buffer in the village, literally you can come to the buffer to me.
Okay, let me go to Sesta City. What's that?
This is impressive.
You see that Sesta City? You see Riverside Town?
So zoom in and zoom in and go to what do you call
it? To
find some houses or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to
zoom back out.
You think I zoom too high?
Yeah, zoom back out. Zoom back out again.
Let's move the map to.
Yeah, move the map.
You know,
there's some roads there, right there. Okay, move that to the center and then zoom in.
How regularly are they updated?
It's already done.
No,
it's already done.
They don't care whether you go build your house or don't build your house.
They don't care if you build your house there. That spot is already identified.
Even the land. So this is even more detailed than Google Maps.
Go down. In terms of addressability, that's what it is.
So
think about it. Google Maps works when you have a road layout and all of that. Okay? And you have addresses. It doesn't care. This is simply identifying a spot.
So this is Main Street, Broad Street in Sesta City right here.
Look at your bro.
Okay, zoom in some more, Isaac. Zoom in some more.
Look at that beautiful ocean front, my man. Imagine what that place would be like that.
The place is
like a small Rio de Janeiro. Beaches.
Okay, keep zooming, Isaac.
Huh?
Is that the most?
I think that's the most though.
Okay, so pick the front door of any one of those houses.
Yeah, right.
That should be the front door. You see what it's called? Shelving news reels.
That's the name of this place. So that's
the name of that single spot.
There's so much we can do with technology in our country.
Oh, you mean literally? I could just know, for example, the way you know your address. I know my address. You know your address. So does Isaac. So I could just remember this, my front door thing, and just give you the 3 words at any time.
But Costa, this is what makes it even better. You install the app on your phone, right? Mm-hmm. You open the app, it will tell you exactly where you are. And it will give you the 3 words for where you are, and you just send it to me in a text message. This is where I am.
Home. I could be anywhere, literally on the street.
Anywhere in the world.
No, anywhere you particular are right now.
Within that 9 square meters.
9 square. If you would be standing in a 9 square meter square.
Whew, but you gotta be standing there whereas you will be under the order.
Exactly, right? And you can send it to me by text. And then when I open the app, boom.
Wow, that is impressive. That is impressive. Well, I just learned something new. So what do we do to have this, George? How do we?
Okay, so what needs to happen is, of course, government has to work in a way to register what is an official front door. You can't have Costa saying, this is my front door today, and tomorrow this is my front door again. The next day, other one at my front door. And then they say, oh, they're not the place I stay. So for every house, there's a front door, and it is that front door that decides what your address is.
I guess the address. So
remember,
with all the
one thing I know in Liberia, everybody know their front door.
So hold on now. So let's just can now get in the process, and they can even do some of this, Isaac, simultaneously while they're doing the voter registration.
Or the census.
Exactly. You can literally have somebody who has an app, they accompany the census person. This is the front door to this house, and they register it.
Look at how beautiful this place is.
I put my village there, man, Marcy Town. Let's see whether it will show up.
How you spell it?
Marchie. I think that is. Marcy Town. I'm sure it's not there. No, it's not there.
But where is it?
It's in Carrisburg. Just put Carrisburg.
Okay, so go to Carrisburg. All you gotta do is go to Carrisburg.
Look at the first thing. You put Carrisburg, like the first thing that show up.
Yeah, it will show up, and then you navigate to it.
If you know between Philip Farm and Carrisburg, which side on, we can zoom towards that side.
I definitely know what side is on the VOA side. So you see where it got Carrisburg. Click on Carrisburg itself there.
Right here?
Yeah.
All right, so let's
just zoom into it, Isaac. Zoom into it so you get closer.
Zoom into Carrisburg.
Okay, bring the map down a little bit.
Look at all that lush land.
We got a lot of vegetation all over the place.
Okay, zoom out again so we can see more of the road construction.
That's the highway up there.
Yeah, right. Carrisburg right down there. So where you see all those buildings? That Carrisburg there.
Wow. So this year that
other road you see that going, that's the road that goes to Bentall.
This one?
Yeah, that road. No. You come back on the mean one.
Go down.
No, not that one. Come back down.
All the way down. All the way down.
That one.
Okay, keep moving down.
It's going straight to Bentall. Bensonville. Yep. Then you're in Bentall now. That's Bentall.
Wow. Keep moving, Isaac.
Keep going down.
Yeah.
This okay. They won't let somebody farm.
Okay.
They won't let a farm to a little organized, like some
kind of farm. You see the controls.
So again,
our people can easily this. Look at this.
Yeah, that is a farm.
It's a farm.
Can easily use this. Really. The list just or whoever can use this and really help with
list just has to decide how they're going to incorporate this as a national addressing system, because the work is already done.
Yeah,
the work is already done.
So I'll stop sharing for now. I think.
Tell Thomas to open the app on his. Thomas Awaji, open the app on your phone or on your computer and go to login time.
What is the app called, George?
It's called what3words.com. What the number 3words.com.
And you see, Liberia has such an advantage. We got 43,000 square miles. We got only 5-point-something million people. We got 33% and bunched up in the smallest space. So there's so much land opportunity. There's so much opportunity to incentivize people to leave Monrovia and go do something else. But it has to come with an enabling government that will provide the opportunity and incentives for people to leave. And if that doesn't happen, people will keep coming to Monrovia, and I say they will just blow apart because one, we definitely cannot handle the trash that's happening.
So let's talk again about LEC, Costa.
Waste pollution. I mean, just a whole lot.
All of it.
Costa, let's talk again.
Terrible.
Let's talk again about LEC and how they can use what 3 words. LEC can register a meter to a specific what 3 word address.
Right.
And say this meter belongs to this address.
Now you're talking, George.
Okay.
And that address is tied to someone's name in the system.
Right. Exactly. So now if you steal the meter and you put it somewhere else.
Shut it down.
George, now you're talking smart. So they
see what I'm saying?
And grab you behind and say you stole this man's meter.
This meter does not belong at this location. So technically, even if you, Costa, own the meter and you say, I'm taking this meter and I'm taking it to my farm, you have to go to LEC and have them change the the location, the 3-word address for the meter.
To another 3-word address.
Hey man,
to the 3-word address for wherever you're taking it.
Who is Sir Nende Sort? Please don't insult the people, man. This app is free for everybody to use it. It's what 3 words? Yes, WHAT 3, the number 3, and words.
Wow, that is great.
Isaac, just show him the link put the link up there.
There are lots of other.
There's all kinds of applications for it in Liberia. Okay, so let's be clear. This is not a property registration tool. It's an addressability tool. Okay, it allows you
many overall problems.
Exactly, it allows you to have an address where you don't have street numbering and all those things.
Because we don't have it, and we can't catch up now, guys, to go do that.
So we go by it.
That's the link, folks. https:// the number 3 words.com.
This fits for Liberia, guys. This is unique. It fits for Liberia.
It's a very, very cool app. It can help.
So I told you I'm going to solve the problem today, right? I solved that problem.
No. You gave an idea. You gave an idea to solve the problem.
Isaac, I have to thank my big brother, Earl Burrows. He told me about this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Earl is an engineer, and he was an engineer with LPRC when I used to work their vacation job.
Is that Patrick's older brother?
Yes, that's Patrick's older brother.
Okay.
And he's a techie, and he told me about this. And he said
he posts a lot of stuff on Twitter and Instagram,
and he does a lot of posting on solar energy and stuff like that.
Now I got to connect with him.
So he told me about this.
All these smart people, all this expertise.
No. When it comes to smart people, Liberia got too many smart.
We got them.
Too many.
Like I told somebody yesterday.
Then why is that?
In all my experience.
Okay, let me tell you one of the reasons why the smart people stay. And you are one of the reasons, Costa. None of these smart people, they want nobody cost them.
No. But at the end of the day, Isaac, let me just put it to you this way.
You gotta roll your sleeves, man.
Everything I look at from a technology perspective, I ask myself one question.
How can
this work in Liberia?
I do the same thing for everything.
What is the application in Liberia? In this particular tool, because they've already done the work, you can plug it in right now and built a system in Liberia with very little effort to provide an address for everybody. Okay, DHL is starting to use it. UPS is starting to use it to deliver in those places where they don't have addresses.
Okay, yeah, yes, another thing, just identifying our professionals, right? This one is by a Liberian, just so people can know. Okay, this site, forum.com, is a collaboration site and is an opportunity really for us to be able to create our own environments virtually. So if we go to this window and we'll come here and share it. So this is called forum.com. It's a website like LinkedIn created by a Liberian. Okay. So if I log in, I got my picture here. I got my profile. You can create your own site, your own website if you want. They call it group sites once you come there. So this group site, these are my group sites. The first one you will see is the Liberia Professional Network, where I really want Liberians to sign up to. You'll go to the forum.com and register, and then you'll look for this group site, Liberian Professional Network. And you sign up that we can have one environment and a way to identify all Liberian professionals if necessary. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. A Liberian has done this and created this. Other Africans are using it. Other companies are using it. You know, you have an opportunity to even get a mentor. You can reach out to people. You can.
Okay, so Isaac, reach out to him and tell him that he needs to include the What 3 Words API.
You know what? That's a wonderful idea.
So that people in Liberia who need to be reached, they can just put it in. You know, I can put my address here.
That's true. Yeah.
In Gold Canyon, right? Because I have an address in Gold Canyon. But if you have a place in Liberia that is not easily addressable, you can just say, this is my What 3 Words address in Liberia.
So you see, there's another group from a youth group, National Youth Parliament of Liberia, Student Hub. They have a group site here, you know. So there's just a lot of opportunity with this. You can load videos. You can have like focused conversations on your group site, you know, be able to reach other people, message other people. So there's a lot of opportunities for us as Liberians to use this site. He put a lot of work into it. You know, that's this, Celebrate Lab West Africa. You know, other people are using it. So we might as well try to jump on this and see how we can create our own, you know, physical site and be able to collaborate more effectively as Liberians, be able to tap into different kind of professionals and stuff like that. So I'll be sending this information out to people. Hopefully they will join and we'll be able to say, oh, we need a geologist. Bam. We'll do a Google search or a search here. We find a geologist. So it's an opportunity for us to have our own site. It also represents an opportunity for companies, big businesses, to have their own collaboration environment. You remember SharePoint or something like that, but it's just a company's own physical presence where they can really collaborate on different levels and everybody can be there. They can have subgroups by departments or whatever kind of functional thing they can do. So there's a lot of things we as Liberians are doing that we have the capability to do.
So let me just jump in here with Antoinette Musa and what she said. She said LEC won't use this app because it's straightforward. They're always looking for a kickback. Don't hurt your head. They will still tell people how to bypass the same code on the app. Okay. So I mean, but all we can do is try to allow to give people the tools.
That's it.
So there's an Android app for this, and I know the majority of cell phones in Liberia are Android. Okay, there's an iPhone app, and the app is also on the what do you call it thing. But if you run a restaurant, okay, now you can solve some of your delivery problems
easily.
But you see, but guys, it's not only for LEC to use or the government to use. It's for people to people.
Yes.
Right. It is a P2P app, correct? Yeah. The only question we are asking now is how can the government integrate it to make some of the things that they have actually work?
That they have. Exactly.
So, there's so many opportunities here. And again, want to say thank you to Henry for joining us. We send this link to a potential presidential candidate, Benjamin Fanier, but he's a wussy boy.
He was on here. I saw him on here, but then he went away.
Oh,
he was in the chat and he ran away. He posted something in the chat. Go all the way back up. Benfin
was there. But he posted something. I sent him the link to invite him to come on the show. And he never came on the show. I never saw him.
But this is the next opportunity to come tell people his platform, man.
Exactly. But he's scared. Because one or two questions.
Ben, man.
No, folks, this is the opportunity, seriously, for those who are interested in sharing what they're doing, because this show is about reimagining, restarting, and rebuilding Liberia. How can we do these things? How the system we have right now is not working for everybody. So,
and Liberia has there are two sides to this coin. I always tell people. One is that we are so far behind. But because we are so far behind, we can leverage the things that are existing, that are being created now. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
You don't have to reinvent the wheels. Just copy what other people have already done.
They've already done it. And for the most part, it's free.
There's a lot of free stuff out here. Free stuff.
So how do we integrate it? So I guess, with this what three words thing.
I don't know if this a girl or this. She said, sorry, but I'm very sure people will use it to give the hidden location to the Jew them. No more calling to get full information. Just go to what
no more calling the
but Isaac, so I know what I mean. I stand in right by him. I'm not too close by him. I will send you my location and you read all that.
When I saw you say, I just call to say I love you, those 3 words. The 3 words not change.
The 3 words not change. So this is something good, and I think we need to figure out, Costa. I mean, you have a much larger platform. Talk to the folks at List This and find out. Because this is something that they have to do something. Because all of the other countries in the sub-region are leaving us behind. Ghana has an address system.
Guys, let's come back to the bigger picture here. The bigger picture in terms of how do we fix Liberia? It all boils down to who sits in the mansion. Not who's in the legislature. Who's in the mansion? That person has to have the political will, the gravitas, the vision, and to be able to build the right team to get all of these fine things we're discussing here to get them done. That's the only way it happens. It doesn't happen with the legislature. Yeah, the board and they're talking about recast budget. Why they didn't get what they're supposed to get? So we have a long way to go, gentlemen. But guys, it's been a pleasure coming on here.
It's been great, and I need to bounce.
I will try from time to time to join you guys to come on. I really had a good time. I learned a lot, and I will take this and run with it. Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
I beg to take my leave. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, I'm leaving too.
Thank you, Percy. I muted myself. So we want to say thank you to Costa for coming on. We sorry Ben Fania could not come. There's a lot of opportunities we have as Liberians, and a lot of opportunities, especially for us to collaborate. So utilizing this https://forum foreium.com will help us. It will connect us better. We'll be in a better environment to work with each other. We are here every Wednesday with George, and we want to invite other professionals who have a vision of how we can reimagine Liberia, how we can rebuild Liberia, how we can restart so many different areas. Their opportunities are huge. We just demonstrated the utilization of geolocation or geo information systems to be able to see different parts of Liberia. So the whole global positioning thing is there for us to use. So let's just keep working. Let's just keep learning. Let's just keep helping each other. That's the way we can move this country forward. It's very important. So again, we want to say to people like Benito and other people who insulting people, there is no need to insult other people. If you got your anger pent up, take it somewhere else. But let's try to focus on the issues here. That's what we want to do. We don't want to deteriorate the conversation or debase what we want to do yet. There's a lot of learning we have to do. There's a lot of teaching, and there's a lot of opportunity for us to love each other. But Monica, we'll be talking some politics sometime, but this show is about restarting, rebuilding. It's not specifically aligned to any one political party at all. It's just about the issues, the conflicting issues, the challenges we have, and how we need to move forward. It's not directed to, give anybody an advantage, but what the solutions are, and it's free. Whoever wants to use those solutions, we are willing to share them. We are willing to give some insight, or they can go and find experts. There are so many Liberian experts all over this globe. Real experts in their field. Highly respected, highly recognized. Whether they're working for the World Bank, the IMF, whether they're at the Electrical Institute, whether they're working in healthcare in America, whether they're working on Wall Street, or whether they're working with some of the big financial banks in Europe, there are Liberians everywhere who are qualified and highly respected in their discipline. It's just that we don't appreciate the success of our own people, and that's a mindset that we have to change. The things that some of these the hiring that some of these NGOs do and bring people to Liberia and stuff, most of those people don't even hold a candle to qualify Liberians, to be honest. But we just have to identify and respect each other. And that's what Forum will do for us, get us in an environment where professionals can be, where we can identify each other, where we can elevate each other. And that's important. We got to be able to elevate each other. We got to be able to move our egos sometimes out of these equations, or they may cuss me, or they may insult me, or they may walk in the room and say hello to me. All these kind of ego stuff, not necessary. If you have your own self-confidence and you are carrying yourself in a certain way, naturally people respect you. So let's just work together and see how we can. On Friday, I'll be in Canada, but I'll definitely try to do the weekend review, because we want to be consistent with that, where we look at all the news over the past week and maybe some old news that I probably recycle and try to share with people, and then share our opinions on some of those particular situations. It's just sad, like right now with the whole list thing, they can't get it together. The corruption is pervasive over there, and we don't have the head or tail of the census. There's the whole thing with the the biometrics for the elections, registering people. That's important. It's not happening. So we don't even know how they will redistrict the population for this coming 2023 elections. Hopefully they don't do a little cheap job just to get it done in time, because they're really supposed to be completed before the voter registration happens end of January, early February. So hey man, Monica, you when you put the word retirement there, it really hit me, because I know so many Liberians right now, professional Liberians, still able to contribute to a society, who want to retire to Liberia. Look, anybody who's retiring to Liberia that has some level of Social Security, at least they'll be getting $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Out of that money, close to $1,000 will be used every month on either the cook, the watchman, the houseboy, or the driver. So at least there are 4 jobs each of those people are creating. So that's why the government needs to be open to this whole diaspora thing and making sure that Liberians can benefit from being in Liberia. Because how many Liberians you think won't retire here in some kind of home when they can be in Liberia surrounded by people they know who will care for them and help them? But it has to be an enabling environment for them, and that's all we are asking. So, hey, want to say thank you for listening. We'll see you next week Wednesday, but on Friday, check us out, and that's more at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. That's 6 p.m. in Liberia. We'll be on with the weekend review. We call it The Wire, the weekend review exclusive, WRRE, The Wire. And, just bring you news. And it's all about us sharing information, us educating each other. If you have some people who you think have things to share, contact me. Let them come on. Let them share that knowledge with our people. And let's see how we can all learn. So I want to say thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Get over this hump day, this Wednesday. It's been tough, but hey, the tougher it is, the more resilient you become. Thank you.